let's look at our next lesson in pre-algebra. It's called Properties of Addition and Multiplication. Our goals for this lesson are to review the commutative properties of addition, review the commutative properties of multiplication, review the associative properties of addition, and to review the associate properties of multiplication. Let's look at our vocabulary words. Add-ins may be grouped and added in any order to get the same answer is the associative property of addition. Two numbers may be added in either order to get the same answer is the commutative property of addition. Okay, go ahead and get your notes. This lesson is very important when we're talking about algebra. You will use this in all your math classes from now on. You'll use it in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Trig, Calculus, Physics. You'll use it in all of them. So this is a very important lesson for you to memorize if you haven't already. And it's really not that hard. Alright. First, let's talk about the commutative property. Well, we better write the title of our lesson first. Property of addition and multiplication. I know. I didn't write the words out. I'm bad. Alright, here we go. Commutative property. Let's talk about the commutative property. And I'm going to abbreviate it. Okay? And this works for addition and multiplication. It does not work for subtraction and division, and I'll show you in a minute. Do you remember what the commutative property says? Basically, it says A plus B equals B plus A. That means, what number should we have A be? Let's say A is 7. And what is B? 3? Okay, 7 plus 3. Okay, B we said was 3, and A was 7. I can turn them around, but I'm still going to get the same answer. 7 plus 3 is 10. 3 plus 7 is 10. It doesn't matter which order you add them. Okay, now, let's say we multiply them. It says A times B equals B times A. In algebra, whenever you multiply, you don't have to put a sign there. Okay? It's understood multiplication. You don't have to put a sign between them if you're multiplying. So we said A was 7. I have to put a sign when I'm using numbers. If I don't, this is going to look like 73. So when I'm using letters, I don't have to put a sign, but numbers, obviously, I do. This says 3 times 7. 7 times 3 equals 3 times 7. Well, what is 7 times 3? 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. Okay? So when we're adding, oh, that's a horrible O. Whether we're adding or multiplying, it works. Now, it doesn't work with subtraction. Okay? You don't have to write this part down. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Well, notice if you change the order, they're opposites, but that's not part of the commutative property. Okay? Let's try division. Okay. Let's say I want to do 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, 3 divided by 6. Well, that's 1/2. So you see those are reciprocals. So you can see that they do have some kind of pattern there, but it's not the commutative property. Okay? Okay, so we said that the commutative property works for addition and multiplication. It says that you can change the order and you're still going to get the same result. A plus B equals B plus A, and A times B equals B times A. That's the commutative property. Alright, now let's talk about the associative property. Associative. You can abbreviate it, but you better have that OC there. Okay? That light is shining on here. That didn't help. All right. So let's talk about the associative property. Okay, and this it only works for addition and multiplication. The associative property says that if it's all addition all the way across, there's no other sign, I can group them any way I want. I'm still going to come up with the same answer. So it says that I can group A plus B, because parentheses mean we have to do it first, remember? Plus C equals, well, what about over here if I group the B and C together? Okay? So this would be, we said A is 7, 7 plus 3 plus, we'll have C be 2, okay? Okay, 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 plus 2 is, I know I'm running out of room. 10 plus 2 is 12. But let's say that over here, I want to do 3 plus 2 first. 7 plus 3 plus 2 is 5. Well, 7 plus 5 is 12. So the associative property says that I can group them any way I want. Okay, that's addition. Now let's do it with multiplication. Let's say I have, this property says that I can do A times B times C. I forgot my equal sign. Okay. And this would say that 7 times 3 times 2. Okay. 7 times 3 is 21. So 21 times 2 is 42. But this associative property says that this is the same thing as A times B times C. So 7 times 3 times 2. 7 times, well, 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 6 is 42. So the associative property says that as long as it's the same sign all the way across, as long as it's addition all the way across, or it's multiplication all the way across, I can group whichever two together that I like. That's why we teach you when you're adding, maybe group the ones that equal 10. Make it easier when you add. Or when you multiply, group it towards the things that you know. Rearrange them to help you multiply easier. Okay? This does not work with subtraction, and it does not work with division. Okay? So let's go ahead and click Show Problem, and let's look at our assignment. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, it gives me this problem. Okay, which property does this represent? Well, it looks like all we did was change the order, so this would be the commutative property of, we multiplied, right? So this is of multiplication. Okay? Let's try another one. Remember to stop the tape and answer the question and then compare it with mine. Okay? Alright, which property does this represent? Okay, well, if we look at it, all we did was change the order, so here we go. It's the commutative property again. Commutative property of, we added this time, so this one's of addition. Alright. Let's look at number 9. Number 7 is matching. I'm going to let you do that. Number 9 has parentheses 13 minus 5 minus 2 and 13. That doesn't look like a 13, does it? 13 minus 5 minus 2. Okay. This represents that subtraction is associative. True or false? Well, let's look at it. 13 minus 5 is 8. Minus 2 is 6. 13 minus 5 minus 2 is 3. 13 minus 3 is 10. 6 doesn't equal 10. So it's not associative. So number 9 is false. Okay? Let's look at number 11. Number 11 gives me the property. It says I have 48 divided by 12 divided by 2. Okay. Now, it wants you to place the parentheses so that the results will be 8. Okay? Alright, well, let's try this. If I do it this way, 48 divided by 12 divided by 2, 48 divided by 12 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. That doesn't equal 8, so it's not that one. So my parentheses can't go around the first two numbers, so they're going to have to go around the last two numbers. 48 divided by 12 divided by 2. 48 divided by 12 divided by 2 is 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. Now on your computer, it wants you to, instead of the division sign, it wants you to use the slash. Okay? So on your computer, you're going to have to use the slash. Alright? Alright, I want you to go back. I want you to review this lesson and go ahead and finish the problems.